In this episode, we talk about how to end your signature. And for that, of course, we have our expert, Mansi Thakkar. Mansi, welcome again and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sonie. It's my pleasure.
Mansi, in the previous episode, as we promised our viewers, that we will also share how to end the signature and that there are so many aspects to signatures.
Right, Sonie. So, when we talk about the beginning, we always also consider how we are going to end it and on what note we want to end it. Obviously, as a layman or as a normal human being, what we want is we want a very good ending. Ending means not an end, but what we are achieving after a whole process of our talks or our goals or our whole process of what we were going into. So if we want a particular end or a particular result, or so to say the word success. So success is what something we all look out for. Again, as we discussed, success is very, very different for different people. But again, we need to end it as much how we understand and how others understand. Because we always look out for a validation outside that how we have finished our work or was it good enough. So for that, the last part of the signature, it could be just the last word of your name or the last word of your surname, needs to be again very clear. So the common mistake what usually people make is the last word becomes quite insignificant. It's not even illegible. It's not just there. So if I take my surname, I sign Mansi and Thakkar. So Thakkar, the last A is visible and somewhere the R is vanished. Though it may sound that, okay, my name could be Thakka, but then that's not what I know. I know it's an R. It's not for the other people. It's for me to understand that the last part somewhere I have missed it. Or probably I have made the last part R into another letter altogether. Or probably I have just scribbled the last letter. Or probably I have made it into a single line. Or probably it's so tiny compared to the whole signature. That means I am not achieving or gaining or having the success or the goal which I have visioned. So somewhere I am going or not able to complete my work and not achieving the result which I wish to achieve.
और इस चीज़ का हम ध्यान नहीं रखते हैं, हमको शायद पता भी नहीं है कि हम अच्छे से शुरू करें तो अच्छे से ख़त्म भी करना है. और जैसे पहले अक्षर पे हम ध्यान देते हैं तो वी नीड टू गिव इक्वल इम्पोर्टेंस टू द एंड, जस्ट लाइक यू सेड कि जो हमारा प्रोसेस है वो प्रोसेस कंप्लीट होना चाहिए. तो हिंदी में जिसको कहते हैं हस्ताक्षर, माने हाथ से जो हम अक्षर लिखते हैं, तो वो कंप्लीट नहीं करते हैं तो अर्थ भी कंप्लीट नहीं होता है. अगर इस तरह से हम सोचें हमारे सिग्नेचर के बारे में तो शुरू करिए और अंत करिए व्यवस्थित. और मुझे याद है व्हेन आई कंसल्टेड यू, यू हैड गिवन मी द सेम आइडिया कि द लास्ट लेटर शुड बी जस्ट एज इम्पॉर्टेंट एज द फर्स्ट लेटर, एंड दैट्स अ वेरी इम्पॉर्टेंट टिप. तो अगेन इसको हम एन्यूमरेट करें, अगर हम बोलें रिमेंबर दैट द लेटर शुड बी ईजिली अंडरस्टैंडेबल, लेजिबल, माने हमको पता चलना चाहिए कि अक्षर कौन सा है, और छोटा ना करें और स्क्रिबल ना करें. तो अगर इस तरह से हम ध्यान रखेंगे तो हमारा जो कंप्लीट सिग्नेचर है, शुरुआत और अंत, अंत तो बोलते नहीं है, इसको हम कंप्लीशन बोलते हैं. योर कंप्लीट सिग्नेचर टू कंप्लीट द प्रोसेस टूवर्ड्स सक्सेस. And you'll be surprised because when I changed the last alphabet of my signature, there was a very different sense of existence. And I was very surprised, Mansi. So thank you for that tip.
Thank you, Sonie, for that lovely testimonial.
Well, it was very impromptu and very sincere. But there's a very important aspect which crops up in one's mind. In fact, it crops up for everybody. and that is when one is signing legal documents or documents which we submit to the bank. How can we make changes to those signatures without all the trouble and the bother? And should we really do that?
Very important aspect of one's life this is, because at a certain age our signatures are all around the place and changing them is definitely a tedious job. When we are talking about changing the signature, it's not about the legal documents, it's about changing your mindset, changing your perception about things in life. So for that you don't need to actually go and change your papers. It's all about practice. So when you are these changes which you're making, the first letter and the last letter, certain things, what you need to do is only and only practice on a rough paper or make a book and practice. So they say that it takes around 21 days to actually make a habit. So you're changing the way you are thinking or looking at your success or looking at yourself and understanding yourself. So you're changing slowly. For that you need to practice at least 21 days is minimum, but I would say at least for 2 months, for the number of times that you've been doing your signatures. So at my age, probably I would have done thousands and thousands of times. So to rub away that impact, I need to at least practice 100 times a day for starts. After 2 months, it's kind of a overhauling process. So maybe some 10-15 times a day. But it's a way to change how you think and how you perceive. So it's okay to have your old signatures in your official papers, but wherever it is not verified. So many places we do where you don't need to verify, the officials are not going to actually compare your signature, are they right or wrong. So all those places you can have your positive one, the rest you can continue. So it's like when you're signing your old one, it's like a cheat day and you work out a little harder with your positive signature.
So this is a big relief actually and a very practical solution. क्योंकि अगर हम सोचने जाएं कि बैंक के कागजात में और सारे जो हमारे लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट्स है उसमें अगर हमको सिग्नेचर चेंज करना पड़े तो बहुत दिक्कत हो जाएगी. सो दिस इज़ रियली वेरी प्रैक्टिकल कि signatures are meant for ourselves, for us to also improve if there are any changes we want to make in them. So it's a really very important tip. As you have mentioned and we have shared earlier, you also do workshops on how to improve one's signature.
Yes, I do a lot for the young adults, especially the college-going students, when they enter, and that's the time when they're actually curating their own signatures. That what are the do's and don'ts of a signature? Obviously, the signature will have their personality within it, but definitely certain do's and don'ts are very, very important.
And you're also doing that for other age groups, of course.
Yes.
But this group particularly finds a greater help, a greater guidance, especially because that is the age when they are defining their personalities. But thank you very much, Mansi, for these tips. And sometimes when we are talking and I'm listening to you, I find it so logical.
Definitely, it's very logical.
So thank you for joining us on this very logical episode of A World in a Word podcast. All of Mansi Thakkar's contact details are in the description below. So make sure you contact her if you want to grow and become successful according to your definition. With that, thank you. Have a lovely day. Thank you for joining us.